On March 18, 2009, a 35-year-old York chef named Claudia Elizabeth Lawrence finished her shift, walked home, spoke to both of her parents, and settled in for what should have been a quiet night. She was calm. She was making plans for Mother's Day. There was no sign that anything was wrong. And then, she was never seen again. Her disappearance became one of the most controversial and divisive criminal investigations in modern UK history. A case filled with secret relationships, strange sightings, dead-end leads, media firestorms, questionable police decisions, and suspects who seemingly vanish into the fog just as fast as Claudia did. Today we're breaking down everything: her last known movements, the relationships investigators believed held the key, the arrests that went nowhere, and the cold case theories that still divide families, police, and the public. This is the disappearance of Claudia Lawrence, and the truth remains missing. Before we dive into the timeline, we need to understand the woman at the center of this mystery. Let's tear into it. Claudia was born on February 27, 1974, in Malton, North Yorkshire. Her father, Peter, was a successful solicitor. Her mother, Joan, a respected member of the local town council and even a former mayor. Claudia was privately educated, well-spoken, funny, and outgoing. Friends described her as gregarious, the kind of person who filled a pub with laughter. She trained as a chef and worked at several hotels before taking a more stable job at the University of York, cooking at Goodricke College's Roger Kirk Center. She was known as punctual, reliable, and dependable. But beneath that stability was a part of her life that few knew about, and one that would become the focus of the investigation. Claudia was known to have a series of short-term and sometimes overlapping relationships with men, including married men. She kept that part of her life extremely private, even from her family. This secrecy would later explode into headlines and police theories. On Wednesday, March 18, 2009, at 6 a.m., Claudia begins her routine shift. Nothing unusual, no strange interactions. By 2 p.m., she leaves work on foot. Her car is in the shop. CCTV captures her walking out of campus. Around 3 p.m., she's seen again on Melrose Gate, near her home in Heworth. Neighbors confirm she looked normal, nothing out of place. That evening, she calls her father, then her mother. Her mom describes her as relaxed, even cheerful. They talk about Mother's Day plans. Claudia says she's turning in early because she has to wake up around 5 a.m. to walk to work again. Her last text out is at 8:23 p.m. Her last text in is at 9:12 p.m. Then her digital footprint goes dark. And according to every official record, that's where Claudia Lawrence disappears. Claudia doesn't show up for her 6 a.m. shift on March 19th. Her manager calls her phone. It rings, but goes to voicemail. He assumes she overslept or called in sick. No one reports her missing. That evening, Claudia's friend Susie Cooper waits for her at the Nag's Head pub. Claudia never arrives. This is alarming. She was always glued to her phone, always social. By next morning, with still no response, Susie starts calling friends. She eventually contacts Claudia's father. Peter Lawrence drives to his daughter's cottage. He enters the home with landlord George Foreman. Inside, everything is hauntingly normal. The bed is made. Breakfast dishes are in the sink. Her purse, bank cards, and passport are all inside. Her work bag is gone. Her phone is gone. And her hair straighteners, something she took everywhere, are missing. It looks like Claudia left exactly as she planned, for work at 5 a.m. But she never arrived. This is when police are finally contacted. At first, North Yorkshire police assume she simply took off. There's no sign of forced entry, no sign of a struggle, no clear evidence of harm. But 5 weeks later, everything changes. The case is upgraded to suspected murder. The early investigation quickly centers on one thing: Claudia's relationships. A senior investigator calls her romantic life complex and mysterious. Detectives build what the media later calls a rogues gallery, a network of men she may have been involved with. Some married, some with jealous partners, some whose names were never made public. A Sky News journalist later claims he was threatened twice while trying to interview people connected to Claudia's social circle. Police believe she likely left home at 5 a.m. on the 19th, met someone she knew, and something went terribly wrong. They suspect she was abducted and killed by someone familiar, possibly local. But the searches go nowhere. Fields, hedgerows, wooded paths, and tracks near the university, all combed over. Tips pour in, some honest, some hoaxes. Investigators find nothing. And as months pass with no progress, the case begins to sour. Public pressure grows. Claudia's family turns to the media for help, and police are criticized for focusing too heavily on Claudia's personal life rather than wider possibilities. Years pass. Then, in 2013, everything shifts. North Yorkshire Police launch a new major crime unit with fresh resources and new forensic tools. For the first time since the disappearance, Claudia's home is re-examined with advanced technology not available in 2009. They find previously unnoticed fingerprints, a man's DNA on a cigarette in her car, cell tower evidence showing Claudia spent time in the Acomb area before she vanished, new CCTV footage of a silver Ford Focus braking outside her cottage, footage of a strange man near her alleyway at 7:15 p.m. on the 18th and around 5 a.m. the next morning. Police make several arrests. 59-year-old former colleague, arrested, released, no charges. He lived near her, gave her lifts, and was reportedly friendly with her. Pub landlord, arrested, released, no charges. Police even excavated part of his pub cellar. 4 men from the Nag's Head, arrested, released. CPS said there was simply not enough evidence. Despite all of this activity, no one is ever charged. In 2021, more than a decade after Claudia vanished, police suddenly descend on sand Hutton gravel pits, 8 miles from York. They drain a lake. They bring cadaver dogs, ground-penetrating radar, forensic teams. The media explodes. People think this is finally it, but after weeks of searching, investigators quietly announce nothing significant was found. Another lead collapses, and the case falls cold again. Several theories remain today. 1. Someone from Claudia's social or romantic life harmed her. This is still the official police belief. 2. A stranger or opportunistic predator. Less likely, Claudia's route was predictable, but the timing required planning. 3. Connection to serial killer Christopher Halliwell. A theory fueled by timing and similarity. He killed Sheon O'Callaghan on March 19th, exactly 2 years later. He's linked to several disappearances, but he has a solid alibi for March 18th, 2009, CCTV in Swindon. Police say there's no evidence connecting him. Her mother says, they haven't proven he did. They haven't proven he didn't. 4. A cover-up within her social circle. Police openly complain that some witnesses withheld information. Some refused to cooperate entirely. Others changed their stories. Claudia may have trusted the wrong person, someone who relied on silence from everyone around them. Claudia's father, Peter, fought tirelessly to change the law so families of missing adults could manage their finances and estates. His campaign succeeded. The Guardianship Missing Persons Act 2017, commonly known as Claudia's Law. Peter Lawrence passed away in 2021, never knowing what happened to his daughter. Her mother continues to fight for answers. 15 years later, the disappearance of Claudia Lawrence remains one of Britain's most haunting, unsolved mysteries. A case where truth, secrets, loyalty, and silence all collided. Somewhere, someone knows what happened, and they've stayed quiet for a very, very long time. If you want more deep dive true crime breakdowns, Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Every week we explore the cases that won't let go, even years later. Thank you for watching.